Welcome, angry faithful, to the Friday What the Hell episode where we look at stuff that's gone in the political world and we're trying to figure out what's going on in the world. And surprise, surprise, we're not going to talk about Iran. Weird. Huh.
Where did you run to? Oops.
I told you, Bill, several times.
I just had to.
I know you had to. You didn't have you couldn't stop yourself. You horrible man. But anyways, yeah. Stuff on our end still happening. But today we're going to talk about a new country that we might be taking over. Now, it's not indefinite what's going on, but we did get a new there we go. A new thing that was happening in Cuba. Basically, show you what is actually happening in Cuba right now for the past couple of days. This is well, inks the sound. You really can't see anything off of this video because, well, Cuba right now is, surprise, surprise, has no power. This is nighttime. They're from what they were saying, they were doing protests and everything. There's other ones, but yeah, they got blacked out and no gas, no support from Venezuela, which we took out, no support from Iran, which we're taking out, and well, China can't get through there. So, and as today at 7 a.m. Oh, we're doing good. Doing good. Anyways. Oh, we got. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Eastern Standard Time, Cuban president came online, and we can't show the video because it's all in Spanish. Well, we can show you the video, but it won't be anything other than the fact that he's speaking Spanish. But basically, he let in the FBI to go into Cuba to do investigations and everything. And as of right now, there's lots of speculations. Everything right now is speculation of what's happening in Cuba. Is it going to be new territory? Is it going to be a new state? Here's the basically the Cuban president on Thursday, well, said on Thursday, televised throughout the Cuban nationals. It is open to talks to the United States, any issues in order to build a civilized relationship between the neighbors that is mutual beneficial. Basically, we don't want to die. But trying to find, I had something else. No, there we go. Let me put this over here and get this over here. As of right now, this is what's what might be happening. This is all speculations, nothing to understand that it actually is happening, but as of March 2026, President Trump said that he wants to do a friendly takeover. Remarks amidst Havana's energy and economic crisis throughout the Cuban officials stress sovereignty is verified diplomatic overturns. But a lot of people are saying that, and this is just people putting in their opinions on the interwebs of what's happening. Here we want actual truth. Like I said, they're some people are saying it's going to be basically like Puerto Rico. It's going to be a new territory, uh, which would be nice. Let me find out what Cuba, other than the scars. Yeah, they have nickel miners, zinc ore, and hard liquor, rum, rolled tobacco. Their total exports for 2024 was 992 million. So they only make pretty much $1 billion a year. Their biggest product, though, is sugar and derivatives. But the production has been declined here recently. Uh, biotechnology products are key in non-traditional export sectors. What the hell? What do you mean biotech? Yeah. So basically, anything biological is going to go through there. Biotech. Yeah. So I think what might actually happen, and this is my opinion, what would happen is they become a territory, they get benefits, they're able to import, export. They will probably their main economy on there. I swear, once it opens up, car people are going to go nuts because they got a lot of old cars that are still running and in decent condition to where they can export those. I'm talking classic cars. Because there's a lot of people that go over there just to see if they can snag some older vehicles. But Bill, what do you think about this?
I haven't followed the Cuba issue, but do we really want it?
Yes, it's one of those things that
Let it be.
no, Bill. No. Okay, I'll tell you.
We have a reason for wanting Greenland. We have a reason. We have a need to want it.
Okay, Bill.
Partner with Cuba, yeah. I haven't heard anything, but I haven't looked at the Cuba situation deeply, but I hadn't heard anything about actually acquiring it, making it part of the U.S. in any way.
Well, okay. Nothing's everybody's talking about, oh, they're going to be a part of America, blah blah blah. And I totally disagree with you on this one. The reason why we need Cuba, one, it's an extra stage. We already have a Marine base there. For one. So we already have a footprint on there. Now, as a territory of the United States, totally all right with it. I don't know about, if anything, since the closest place is Florida, it becomes part of Florida. Yes. But in all reality, it's a good staging point. It's like an extra mile to get through to what you call it, South America.
As far as military,
yeah, it's good. It would be a good staging area.
We're not that far away. It's not like our need for Diego Garcia, which Starmer is screwing up, but we need access there. As far as how long would it take for our bombers to get from Missouri to Venezuela? How long did it take?
In about 3 hours.
Right. Not like, what is it, 18 hours or something? That's why we need Diego Garcia. This is a hop, skip, and a jump. So we don't really need a landing point.
Well,
per se.
Again, I think you're totally wrong with this, because there might be. I know there's not much on Cuba, but having an extra destination, mafia style. I mean, put a couple of casinos there. Like
Trump
it,
Towers.
well, think about it. What it used to be. It used to be I mean, it was a haven for uh the mafia. It was a vacation point, and it's a good vacation point. But the thing is it really, really, really doesn't have the economical placate anymore. Because the whole reason why they were having a problem down in Cuba back in that time frame was because of the sugar. And now their soil is because they don't have anybody that really understands like farming or the new techniques in farming like we have now.
Yeah, our main issue though is still to make sure China and Russia don't have influence in it.
Yeah.
I hadn't, I had, like I said, I haven't looked at it closely over the last, since the announcement from their leader, but
Well, you want to
never had the thought of taking it or making it a part of us. Complications.
we should have took it. Okay. If it wasn't for the fact of uh uh John Kennedy messing that whole thing with the Bay of Pigs, we would have had Cuba beforehand. And in all reality, it was a good we should have had Cuba back then because it literally is off 90 miles away from us. And that should never have been a thing. We've had so much stuff for Cuba because since then. That's the reason why we need it. It's one of those things is the reason why we need it is because we can't let anybody else have it because it's so close to us. I mean, of all the back in the 80s, how did they get it when they let all those prisoners out? How did they get to Florida? They had like jugs and they were just floating across.
Well, they were still doing that when Biden opened the floodgates.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it shouldn't be that way. We should just think about it this way. One, it's unsafe. Those people, there's a lot of people that died because doing that, and it'd be a lot easier just to say, "Hey, it's a territory. You basically have citizenship, but we just don't have any. You can come and go as you please." Just like Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans, they have officially. Yeah, but the problem with that is if they actually stay independent, which is probably just going to stay independent. But like I said, if they have a territory, the people of Cuba can come to the United States and they'll have citizenship just like Puerto Rico. Yes, Bill, we're streaming on Facebook too.
Wow, is this the first? It's first I've noticed.
It's the first you noticed.
Oh.
But anyways, in other news, that's the big thing that we had going. Because it's in the news right now. Talking about gas as right now. Here's something funny that mother as of right now, this you know where this is at, Bill?
Well, I cheated.
Yeah, it's okay.
And I saw it flip by, and the signs are not in English.
Yeah, this is China right now. Next on the communist docket. This is the line to get gas in China because they can't get any kind of oil production or anything. Yeah. China's going broke. We're finally getting rid of that one.
Well, there's multiple reasons for the Iranian excursion, the excursion into Iran. And the best I'd heard an actual foreign news, Australia or UK mentioned it. They said Iran has multiple angles that Trump is working with. One of them is Iran was supplying the weapons to Russia, a lot of the weapons to Russia that they were using in the war in Ukraine. So, in taking care of Iran, he's helping take care of Ukraine. And then, yeah, he has this his call with Putin, and Rachel Maddow is just an insane, can't say it for her. Russia, Russia, Russia. Yeah, of course. Every time Trump calls Putin, it isn't because he's getting information from him or getting orders from him. Do you think Putin's happy right now that his supply line of the manufacturing of weapons in Iran is going away?
Bill, you hadn't heard the new news, have you? There's talks of dropping sanctions for the oil for Russia.
Yeah, I think they already did temporarily for so many hours or a week or something. Part of it is like India.
Yeah.
India's not getting anything, and I just watched. I was watching before I had to come here. News in Australia, and Australia is
Hey, Bill.
really screwed.
Hey, Bill.
Hmm?
Yeah, but what's gonna happen is there's another thing that's happening because of all this, because we realized how much of the oil that we don't have. Trump is using war powers to unlock 30 billion barrels of oil tapped off the coast of California. He is invoking a Cold War era law that bypass state rules so a Texas company can restart a massive oil field that has been shut down for years. California is sitting on a massive oil deposit that could produce 50,000 barrels a day, enough to secure U.S. supply. Now, this is off of bull theory, and I'm just questioning it. Because I seriously doubt this. Because
why open up drilling off of the coast of California right now?
that's what I'm wondering, because they're shutting down like two refineries next month.
Yeah, that I made the prediction back in December that California fuel prices, not diesel, just regular fuel prices, would hit $6 to $8 per gallon by this summer. And that's just because their pipeline shut down in December that was feeding the local refineries what refiners were left. And then other refiners were shutting down because of huge environmental regulations that Newsom was plopping onto them. So right now, they can't even refine. They're having to get some of their refined fuel from the Bahamas.
Yeah.
In California. So there would be no need to get oil to California because they have no pipeline. They're an energy island. There are no pipelines going into the West Coast from the rest of America.
Well,
they're an energy island. So the only way they could do anything with that oil is to take and tanker it all the way down to Texas, our Gulf refineries.
Yeah. But here's the problem with even doing that. They can't even do that. And this is the reason why. The reason why California can't take gas coming from Texas. California requires an oil blend so specific that the particular blend, if you will, and it can only be made by a handful of refineries, such as South Korea, Singapore, and India. Texas gas cannot be sold there because it's the wrong formula. So when your refineries close and 20% is already gone, they can't just call their neighbors. They have to wait for the shipment from Asia. Meanwhile, the Straits of Hormuz bordering Iran is the main route for a lot of that oil. California didn't just make gas expensive, is building a trap, and all who live there are in it. And there's if basically they have regulations and everything to where they have to have their gas and oil a certain way. If it's not like that, then they can't use the state's regulations won't allow it.
Right, and our refineries produce different. They can produce different blends, so they are getting fuel from the Bahamas. Now they're not getting it straight from Texas. It has to go from Texas to a depot in Bahamas, so they can use a cheaper vessel that isn't flagged in America and that doesn't have an American crew. Now they're talking about getting rid of the Jones Act right now. That's why they can't ship it straight from Texas to California. It has to go from Texas to the depot in the Bahamas, where they can then use a foreign crude ship. If they get rid of the Jones Act, then they can get it straight from the coast of Texas. But they've got a 5,000-mile trip, and one of the things that someone in California threw back at me is, well, the oil we pump isn't even for cars. Can't even use it for cars. Now, if you get hit with that one, here's the truth on it. Yeah, it's the heavy crude. Their refineries could refine heavy crude, but they have to blend it with light crude. So they would ship in oil from Alaska. So the oil is used that they pull out of the ground there, but it's blended. And the same thing happens here. We've got Gulf Coast refineries that deal with heavy crude. Heavy crude comes from Venezuela and comes from Canada. But what they do is we take our West Texas shale sweet light crude and send it down and blend it. So that's how we can refine it. Now, the refinery that Trump is talking about opening, first new refinery in 50 years, is specifically configured for the sweet light crude. So we've got a lot of West Texas crude that can we use all of it? Can we use as much as we're getting from it? No. And also, environmentalists have kept us from building the pipelines we need. So we need that refinery. Then we need some pipelines.
You're talking about the refinery from an Indian energy firm, Reliance, right?
Yeah, which will probably never happen.
Why?
Well, not pulling it up all the details that I have up in 1,000 tabs. Various environmentalists and lawsuits, they've already jumped on that. They're going to stop it.
So basically, what you're telling me
is environmentalists stop.
It's not Greenpeace because we know they're bankrupt, but what you're saying is other countries are supplying money to environmentalists so they could stop us from doing that.
No, other countries don't have to. We have our own environmentalist nut jobs.
No.
Enough. We have enough of them. Yes, some of them. But look at the copper mine in Arizona. The big lawsuit is by Indians, Native Americans, who say you're messing up our sacred land. And there's 22 different tribes, and each one of them there's like 5 different lawsuits that is stopping a copper mine that could have gone into operation like 4 months ago that would supply 25% of all of the copper America needs. So there's all these tribes, each have their own lawsuit, and each environmental lawsuit is geared toward a different aspect of, oh, you're hurting this wildlife, it's this sacred thing. So the question I ask is, what happens if we win all of those? Is it going to be because they didn't do quite everything as a group? So if we win and the Rio Tinto mine says, okay, you can open and start mining there, they're going to throw out another lawsuit. what they're going to do is find some other, they've got like lined up little environmental issues, and each one they'll do a lawsuit on it. And after it goes through the system, they'll do another lawsuit on it. Another tribe will do. So they're geared up to completely stop until the Australian mining company takes its billions and decides, nah, can't deal with America either. So they're just going to keep doing that. And I looked into, I did some research into the Gulf Coast refinery. I said, hey, is the same thing going to happen there that's happening in Arizona with the copper mine? What are the odds? Give me percentage odds that you think that refinery will actually get built. Very low, because this environmental group and this is starting this lawsuit. It's wetlands, it's this, and it's not, yeah, there's some foreign money behind it, but our environmentalists, they're big. I mean, you've got the environmentalist Steyer out in California. It's funded well by people here who stop it. Just like in Canada, Canada has its own nut job environmentalist. Just like Greenland, Greenland isn't necessarily going to be funded by some foreign agency trying to stop us from getting Greenland. The Greenland people are major environmentalists. So it's the movement overall.
That's what I don't understand is why is it they can't just okay. Because I totally understand where they're coming from. Am I against lawsuits for just stopping it? Just yes. I'm against lawsuits of them just stopping it. And hear me out on this one. But once it's getting built up and everything, have it to where you have it would be really tricky. Really, really tricky. Because now the animals there and everything, you can relocate them, do whatever and everything. Because that stopped the Oregon logging, which brought down Oregon for a while. But have it to where they are highly looked at. You know? Make sure that like our place here, the place that I work, we have a lot of nickel that doesn't go into the environment, go into the water supply, which it could. They could just say, you know what, screw these people. We're going to do this and just bail them out when everything shows up and people had like third heads. But you need it. We need oil. Two, we need to do it safely. You need to have some kind of compromise. You know? Not go like super regulations like some people do, but have it regulated and make sure that it doesn't fuck over the environment.
Well, like nuclear regulations, they if you took present day nuclear regulations and applied it to microreactors and the small modular reactors, it would grind them to a halt. But that's for 50, 60-year-old technology. Those regulations were made for that technology, but they're keeping them and they're going to keep pushing them. Now, here's I found what I had dug up on that. I had was going through the Rio Tinto mine questioning, and then I said, Trump announced the first new refinery in 50 years. What are the odds that liberals and environmentalists will kill the project, and what are they already trying? And currently, it has high-level backing. The challengers, the odds of the project being significantly delayed or killed by environmentalists are considerably high due to the following ongoing efforts. Existing litigation tactics. Environmental groups like Food and Water Action have explicitly stated they are watching the Trump administration's tactics, such as his attacks on renewable projects, to use as a playbook for future legal disruptions of fossil fuel plans. They're doing this all over the country. Every project that Trump is trying to help the American people, they're shutting down. Permitting challenges. Although the developer AFR claims the project's permits were approved in 2024 under the previous administration, legal challenges are focusing on the environmental impact statement, and activists have filed lawsuits under the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA. And then there's state level resistance. Local groups are fighting it. The carbon dominance critique. That's the liberals who are against carbon and want just all renewables. They're fighting it. So it isn't necessarily just foreign, but right now, key risk to the completion, midterm elections. Analysts note that the outcome of the elections could shift the balance of power, leading to new legislative hurdles. So we lose the House, all these projects, you're gonna get more and more regulations that they're gonna control. Climate lawsuits, dozens of climate-related lawsuits against oil majors are moving toward the U.S. Supreme Court, which could establish new precedents for holding energy infrastructure projects liable for environmental damages. So basically, it's a not in my backyard. It's a NIMBY thing. The liberals are stupid as hell. It's like California. It's exporting pollution. That's what it's doing. It's exporting pollution. California is one of the most polluting per person for your carbon footprint than anywhere else in the country.
Well, it's just like exporting slavery. We don't do it in this country at all, but we allow other countries to do it on our behalf.
Yeah, I may have mentioned this last week, but the figure is they're California. I had it up. The board that creates the carbon figures and all that. Do you have that?
Okay.
Well, whatever. They use a calculation of they only consider the last 100 miles of any ship coming in as far as the carbon footprint that it generates. So when you've got something going 5,000 miles from the Bahamas, 4,900 miles of it isn't considered. Their refinery pollution output is dropped to zero because the refinery closed, but they're getting it from a refinery that's 20 to 40% more pollution than the one they had.
You know how much pollution those things have? Dude,
Tankers?
just one tanker. One tanker is 1,200 cars worth of pollution. If you took like 5 or 6 of them and made them nuclear, you would cut carbon emissions like down to almost nothing. They're that dirty.
Yeah, it's not in my backyard. It's like the copper mine. Okay, we can mine it here. We do have regulations that we would adhere to. If you get it from some other location, are they going to have those same regulations? No, it'll be dirtier. Then it'll cost America more because it has to be shipped across from wherever it is. And right now we get a lot of copper from Canada. We could give Canada the middle finger if we could do it ourselves, which would be really great because Carney is a nut job.
Yeah. No, not oil spill. Talking pollution, no.
Oil spill. When I was
Bill, hold on. I was trying to type in the carbon footprint stuff. I was like, oh, okay, how bad is the carbon footprint for oil tanker? And it just popped up. It was like oil spill, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. I'm like, man.
What'd you type it into?
X. It wasn't giving me the same thing.
You typed it into Grok?
Yeah. Anyways, Bill, go ahead. What were you talking about? Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm carbon footprint of a super tanker traveling 5,000 miles.
But
Typical super tanker traveling 5,000 miles would produce 5 to 6,000 metric tons of CO2.
that's a lot. But here's some okay, getting off of that subject and getting on this stuff that was I was suggesting before the podcast. Uh it this is so Jasmine Crockett is technically in the news. U.S. Congressman Jasmine Crockett, security officer, has been shot and killed by Dallas police SWAT officers while under investigations for impersonating a law enforcement officer. Uh, and yeah, it's actually true. Uh, on March 12th, 2026, a man named Mike King, who is uses alias and has a criminal history, was fatally shot in Dallas SWAT officers during a standoff in a hospital parking garage after he barricaded himself in a vehicle and allegedly pointed a gun at police. King ran a business called Off Duty Police Services, which connected officers to extra jobs, but he was accused of impersonating a law enforcement, including driving a replica undercover vehicle with stolen plates. Sources confirmed he provided paid security service for U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett as recently as 2025, including during her U.S. Senate campaign events where he appeared in photos with her. The incident has raised questions about vetting and background checks for congressional security hires, though Crockett's office and Dallas police have declined to comment further. That's it. So yeah.
No comment about her.
No.
I look at her as irrelevant now.
Yeah. Now, for my last bit on this episode, it's sad to report this. LTC, Lieutenant Colonel Brandon A. Shaw, was a professor of military service at Old Dominion Army Reserve Officers Training Corporation, ROTC program. Was reported a victim today in the campus shooting. Brandon enlisted into the Army in 2003 as a aviation operations specialist. While enlisted, he obtained the rank of sergeant before transitioning on completing his enlistment services, which included service to active duty Army and Army Reserves and Virginia Army National Guard. Brandon graduated in the Old Dominion University, the same place that he is actually a professor at. Since his enlisted service to the president, he was deployed in the support of the operation of Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and a rotation to Atlantic Resolve. Since his ODU commission, Officer Duty Unit, Lieutenant Colonel Shaw earned his Army Aviation Senior Aviator Wings, following more than 1,200 hours in 3 different aircraft and completing over 600 combat flight hours. Brandon last served as a Brigade S3 in the 3rd Combat Aviation Brigade, Hunter Army Airfield, Savannah, Georgia. Before Brigade S3, he served as Squadron S3 in the 317 Air Cavalry Squadron, overseeing modernization efforts for attack helicopters. Brandon confirmed time exceeded 36 months, which includes command at a A-13 Attack Reconnaissance Battalion, A/317 Air Cavalry Squadron, and B/603 Aviation Support Battalion. His services assignment included the 101st Airborne Division, 82nd Airborne Division, and the Air Corps, United States Force Iraq, and 3rd Infantry Division. Brandon's education includes a Bachelor's of Science in Sociology and Military Science minor for ODU, and an MBA from the University of Georgia, and a MS in Engineering Management from the University of Kansas. Individual awards included Senior Army Aviator Badge, Combat Action Badge, Parachutist Badge, Air Assault Badge. In addition, Brandon has a Bronze Star, 2 awards, Defense Ministry Service Medal, service 2 award service medals, Air Medal with Valor, a Joint Service Commendation Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Joint Service Achievement Medal, and Army Medal 2 awards, and a number of campaign and unit awards. And this is this guy right now. And yeah, that's him right now. That's Shaw. Yeah, keep his family in your prayers, people. What happened this week, or actually it happened today, was there was a shooting. Guy busted in his truck, shot Shaw, and shot a couple of other people. Like I said, keep them in your prayers, people, because it's getting ridiculous out there. And yes, he was Islamic. There is another Islamic, but he was going to the school in Texas, and he was shot. The security guard just seen him and lit him up, so he didn't get that far on that one. So, yeah. It's getting crazy out there with all there was a video I seen that Nick, who's the kid that broke the Minnesota daycare stuff?
Oh,
Nick Swanson or some shit like that.
Yeah, hold on.
But anyways, he was going in, and he was going into a
Shirley.
Yeah, Nick Shirley. He was going in and looking at people that are doing an Islamic protest and asking them, was like, hey, would you defend America? And they kept on saying, no, we defend Iran. So that's what Biden let into the fucking country, or Biden's administration. I apologize. Biden probably didn't do it personally. His administration did it by lowering the borders. Now, I guess last but not least, well, we got 2 more things. The next one is the SAVE Act. Do you think that's going to even come close to passing?
Oh, no. That never will. I'll be surprised if they even get the standing filibuster in on that. And if they don't, Republican Party's dead.
Yeah.
We've lost the House and may lose the Senate if they don't push that harder.
Well, even Trump's saying it's like he's not signing any other stuff until that's actually pushed through.
Well, and then there's another issue. I can't remember what it was, that the Democrats said, we're not signing anything till we get this. And I'm really tired of you control all of it. No, we don't have 60 fucking senators. We don't even have, I mean, shit, Murkowski's going hard against the SAVE Act now. Going hard against it, not just I'm not going to vote for it.
Yeah.
She's pushing hard against it. She doesn't even need to be. She's a traitor to the Republican Party. Doesn't even need to be there.
Well, she's just a traitor to the Republic, period. Another thing that's freaking ridiculous right now is DHS. They're not getting funded. The flights aren't going through because they're not paying those people.
You mean the TSA people?
DHS, Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, yeah. You said flights though, which
Yes, they're
would be
part.
TSA.
TSA is part of the DHS.
Right.
God,
I was just narrowing it down, but they were backed up. My wife took a flight last week, and yeah, it was pretty chaotic going through TSA, and it's getting more and more so because more and more of them are calling in since they're not getting a paycheck.
yeah.
What's bad is they're going to go find other jobs in the meantime. Then they're not going to come back. Then we're going to be short TSA agents.
Yeah. This is one thing I don't agree with is using political power to just be an ass. And this is both Republican and Democrat both. These are actually reasonable laws that are going into place. People will end up saying it's like, no, people can't get IDs. Everybody can get a fucking ID. You have to get a social security card. You gotta have to get an ID. You can get a visa number to get a job. Those are
almost every country in the world requires it. All the major countries.
I don't care about any other country. I care about this one.
Right. But they try to compare us to Europe, and Europe requires it.
I don't care about Europe. This is the thing. You keep on going up and saying, well, Europe, shut the fuck up. Where are we at? Where are we at, Bill? We're in U.S. fucking A, United States of fucking America.
Right.
I don't give a shit what those fucking panhandlers over across the pond are actually fucking doing, because they're ruining their fucking country as
well. You've mentioned foreign influence and foreign money, and it all ties in together. They like affecting us with their foreign shit, but then you go, okay, you like their foreign shit, but they don't. Then why don't you like that too?
And half the time they get rid of it. Half the time they're getting rid of it. Okay. It's like, as of right now, it's like Greece and Hungary. They're getting rid of the mosques. The whole thing was like, oh, let them come in. Let the refugees. Greece and Hungary are
Poland.
And Poland and Italy. Italy's another one that's doing it too. A lot of those countries over there are just, we're not having this shit anymore.
Japan,
big time. Hell, what's really sad is Iran closed down a lot of their mosques because nobody showed up, and they're supposed to. They were doing underground freaking churches. They're practicing Christianity underground because they didn't want to deal with freaking Muslims and Islamic. That's how much it's hated. You had a warlord figure out saying this is a good religion, and guess what? It's not. It's a brutality to any culture. It's a way to say, oh, we're doing this. It's basically Jim Jones. The whole thing, the Muhammad thing, Jim Jones. That's the way I keep on seeing it. He was the first Jim Jones cult radical. Okay? And yes, you can put me on record if I ever have the idiocy of going into political office. You can cut this and say, Dave said Islamic is Jim Jones. Basically, you guys are cults. And guess what they are? But anyways, what's happening in Wichita Falls, Bill?
What's happening in Wichita Falls? Oh, boy. There's going to be big protests in Wichita Falls.
Which I'm actually, you know what? I'm thinking about it. I think we should actually go to there. We should do something.
Well, my thing is, okay, it is a march for justice. They are taking back American sovereignty. I want you to go out and ask one of them. Hey, if one of you guys are watching who's in Wichita Falls, I don't know, what are the odds? Yeah, probably not. But if you're watching, tell me what that means. Tell me what, as a big liberal march, you're going to take back sovereignty. Every country in the world right now, the conservatives are trying to take back sovereignty. Why? What does that mean to them? The borders were open. They were flooded with illegals. That is your loss of sovereignty. When you no longer become a nation, you no longer have your culture, you have no borders. That is sovereignty. Take back sovereignty, you closing the fucking border. That's what you're saying. Or what does that mean to you? Yeah. You asked from the hole in the ground. You got no clue what it means. You're going to be screaming it, take back sovereignty. We're going to take back sovereignty. And if you ask them, they'd go, I was told to say that.
I was paid to say that. No, you got that mixed up, Bill.
Well, no, in Wichita Falls, they're just too stupid. But then I glanced at who is behind that, and it's interesting when you go into asking who is behind it, and you sit there and you try to relate it to were World Economic Forum people behind it. No. Okay, who's behind it? Well, the 50501 movement, which has over 200 organizations within its umbrella that it's working with that are funding it. So, okay, you got the 200. Then you take the jump and go, okay, what are the foreign ties? What are the foreign ties to the funding to the 50501? And you get foreign financial ties, organizations that provide the logistical backbone for the March for Justice, the March for Justice, are the Arab, such as Indivisible and the Arabella Network, receive substantial funding from non-U.S. entities. Swiss influence, Swiss billionaire, I'm not going to try to hand you, has funneled over $673 million through the Berger Action Fund and the Weiss Foundation into the U.S. advocacy groups, including Individual, which is the primary Indivisible primary organizer. European foundations, Arabella Network manages several nonprofits supporting these marches, has received roughly 55.6 million from the KR Foundation in Denmark and the Logs Foundation, German Dutch. Then the UK and China Links, UK-based Children's Investment Fund Foundation, has provided 638 million to U.S. advocacy groups. And they're linked to roles promoting the Belt and Road Initiative that Trump is trying to squash, that China is doing. So all these little idiots out here, they're just useful idiots. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And it is 100% funded by people who hate America. And it's the same people you were talking about, Poland and Hungary. It's the same people that are fighting to make sure Poland and Hungary turn progressive. And they're really, really pushing hard to get Orban out. But they're behind it. And Obama even made a video out in mid-December. He put it out on X, so it's not propaganda. You see on his X post where he's talking about supporting the groups that are getting the conservatives out of Hungary and Poland, because as Carney said, they want to build that one world order. And he's fighting. Everything he does is against America, and it's fighting for that from his Davos speech of one world order. But these idiots, they don't know who's pulling their damn fucking puppet strings. Yeah. And it's 100%. And I did an analysis with Grok on that last year when everyone was laughing about the No Kings protest. And he was like, don't underestimate it. Here's what they're going to do. And they're doing it. He said, they're going to keep going. And those groups are still going to be funding this protest. Then in the spring, it's going to do that. He predicted a lot of this shit. They've got to get Trump out. and they know it, and they're hard focused on it. And you've got hundreds of millions of dollars around the world, not just America, around the world, because Trump is the example for those countries like Poland and Hungary. Trump is the example to the underground people in Germany that support the AfD, that the AfD goes, look, America was able to close their borders. Now we can do it too because they did it. The Reform Party in UK it's gaining steam, or it's already got a full head of steam. Starmer's an idiot, and they don't lost my train of thought.
Okay, good. What we're gonna go is we're gonna go back to the Save Act. Okay. Senator Minzy, God, where she is, she's a senator for Hawaii. Anyways, let's see if I can go back to it. Yes, she's saying, and I'll put this in the thing and show this. Okay. She's saying if the Save Act passes, it will be easier to buy an assault rifle than it will be to register to vote. Let that sink in. Now, here's the thing about that. I purchase firearms from actual places that sell firearms. And guess what? It's harder for me to get that firearm than it is to register for. I voted 2 weeks ago for to get our Republican senator, stuff like that, governor. And you know what I had to do? I walked up, handed my ID because we're in Texas. They gave me all the forms. They asked me where my address was. Boom, bam, I'm done. Here's your number. Go to a station or wait for a station to open up. I was done. I didn't have to fill up a form. I didn't have to do anything. I had to give my government ID to them. And I could have picked and choose. I could have used my LTC because it has the same stuff on the background. I just hand them that. It just had to be a verified ID that had my verified address, and boom, I was done. Didn't have a road registration card or anything like that. I just had to have my photo ID. That was it. It took me a good minute to do all that. Here's what the rest of the people say. Mary Miller for a representative. You can't buy cold medicine without an ID, which is true. You can't board a plane without an ID, which is true. You can't get a fishing and hunting license without an ID. But Democrats want you to believe that requiring an ID to vote is almost impossible and burden. The only impossibility is if you're a legal alien. Okay. Democrats constantly claim that their voters are more educated than Republican voters. Democrats also claim that their voters are stupid to obtain an ID. That's weird. Now, let's go ahead and split this back up. And there we go. Let's check something else out. Hate when it does that. There we go. This is something that came on CNN. And we all know from all this that CNN is what, Bill? What does Bill think of CNN?
China News Network.
Okay. Now, this is what they're saying, that the voters, us, the American citizen, in the polls, think about using a voting ID to vote.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So something of a not.
Take a look.
So, Bill, coming off of that, what do you think? That is that everybody doesn't want that, right?
Yeah, one of the issues is when they come out and say, well, that doesn't happen. That doesn't matter. When you have a poll of that many Americans who believe it could possibly happen, then your perception of elections is altered. So how is it affecting elections, people's perceptions that it's not safe? And then they'll come back with, well, elections are federal, it's state issue, the Constitution and federal can't do it. When you get someone like that, just look and go, okay, every time Pelosi was in power, every time she took power or was in charge of the House, look at HR 1, House Resolution 1. Every time, the very first thing that she tried to pass was a takeover of the elections. So all these people who go, how are you doing it because it's not constitutional for the federal government to? What did Pelosi do? There's an archive out there that lists every single bill ever submitted back to the 1700s. It shows everything. It shows the progress of it. If it was killed here, if it didn't come out of committee, whatever. And you go back and look. Anytime Pelosi was in charge, just look at HR 1, very first bill every time. And
are you talking? Okay, you're talking because there's several HR ones.
That's why you've got to go HR 1 of the Congress that she was in charge.
Well, if you will let me finish. HR 1-117, 117th Congress, 2021-2022. The bill addressed voters' access, election integrity and security, campaigning, finance, and ethics for the three branches of government. Specifically, the bill explains voter registration. It also limits removing voters from voting. Whoa. Limits removing voters from voting polls?
Yes, it limits it limits it. It takes a state like Texas that requires voter ID and it overrides it. It forbids states from asking for it. It requires drop boxes. They're required, and it extends the amount of days after the election that votes can be received by mail.
Wow.
Yeah, I followed HR 1 for years, and during the last election, the one where Trump really won, but they say he didn't. It was there was a budget bill, and Pelosi tried to shove a whole bunch of the HR 1 stuff into it, and they held it up and said, "You need to pass this bill for the American people." And she got so pissed, she was on with Wolf Blitzer, and he was saying, well, you put all this, and she blew up and blamed him and said, you're shilling for Republicans. And he's like, what? And then they came out with the, that you got the it's too big to rig thing. And she was like, oh, okay, we don't need that now. So they just let it slide. But she was trying to put things that were in HR 1 into that budget bill.
I'm so fucking happy that she's getting the fuck out of the Congress. There's certain people, and I would hate, and I know some people are going to do it, but I would hate anybody that gives her a voice afterwards. And anybody that puts her, unless they're like verbally abusing her, I would hate anybody that would have him on their show, just so she could talk. She is that I am inflamed against that woman. I'll be ready to.
When's the last time you've heard her? The last couple of times I've heard her, I think she's going the way of Biden.
You might be right.
I think she's losing some of her mental acuity.
I mean, she has to have like a walker just to get around now. I mean, if she deflates her tits, maybe she could get around a little bit easier, but you know, those bad boys are still up. She's 80.
You just you know, I'm hungry. My I can tell my blood sugar's dropping, but I don't know what I'm going to do now. You just took away my appetite. In fact, let me just go ahead and double check that right now.
And we lost everybody. But anyway, yeah, we'll go ahead and close up the show. Anyways, everybody, that's the end of the show. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching that are actually watching. I'm David Dickerman.
And I'm Wild William.
Again, everybody that keeps up with this show and keeps talking to us, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Let us say ridiculous stuff on the internet.
Yeah. Even the liberal morons.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.